Welcome to Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails. It's Sunday afternoon, about 1:30. We are heading out to, we're going back to that little small corn plot. We hunted that last Tuesday, and we haven't been hunting since then. I do like the looks of that spot. It's surrounded by timber, just a small little patch of corn there, so that any deer that comes into it should end up within bow range. And I think it's going to be the night. It's November 6th. One day away from my favorite day of the year, November 7th. So we're closing in on it. So we're going to be hunting hard this next few days. Hopefully it only takes today. I think today should be a good hunt for us. So we'll see you when we get over there. We got to drive around the block and come in from the north and jump on the four-wheeler and head to the blind.
Got another tip from one beginner to another. There's a little fawn that came out here just a few minutes ago, and my dad had me do a full dress rehearsal, essentially, of getting my release on the string, drawing back the bow, and getting him sighted in, all with my finger behind the trigger so that I wouldn't accidentally let it fly, but kind of just to put into practice all the things that we've been talking about. It's a lot different than shooting at a stationary target, so it's just another really good way to get some practice before the target buck comes out and you're forced to figure out if you know how to do it. So get a little practice run in there before you have to do it.
Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails is brought to you by Day 6 Arrows, Redneck Blinds, Code of Silence Apparel, Fuse Archery, and Hoyt. They were picking corn today. They got the first field done, which is the one right above our camp. And that's where we're headed to. They're still picking on the other one. I pulled that redneck blind on the trailer into the field right as the combine was pulling out. And that usually works really good because the deer just see that as a piece of farm equipment. They're not used to the field being opened up and that thing not in there. So they accept it really quick. We've got about 20 minutes left, 15 minutes left in legal shooting time here. And it was real dead all afternoon until just a few minutes ago. This small 1.5-year-old buck came in, and we decided not to shoot it. You know, it's gravy shot. Jordan did a practice draw and aimed at him just to get a feel for, you know, the whole process of drawing, aiming, picking your spot. He was only 10 yards away, and then in the end he was 3 yards away. But if something else comes in, we'll break away and show it to you. Otherwise, we're going to be back in action again tomorrow and try to keep it coming day after day until we finally break the ice.
Mission accomplished.
We're gonna make venison loin tonight for dinner, and there's almost no wrong way to make it as long as you don't overcook it. So that's the plan for this evening. I got 2 loins, obviously one on each side, but these are the ones off that buck that I shot a couple weeks ago. Had them in the freezer, just pulled them out this morning to thaw, and they're just about ready. It's early in the afternoon, shortly after lunchtime, and we're going to make a venture into the middle of this farm for the first time. We'll check in with you on the way. That's the plan for this afternoon. It's November 12th, and we'll talk some more when we get up there and get the stand in place. Coming down to the wire here. It's been a enjoyable evening, a little bit brisk, but having the snow flurries coming down and being up here where we can see everything, it's been a lot of fun. This spot is a classic ridgetop stand location, and I want to talk about that some more before I wrap up this episode. We walked right to this spot without doing any scouting, just by going off the topo map and looking at the contour lines. So it's a kind of spot that you can find really almost anywhere that you've got ridges. This is a real classic spot, and I've had great hunts over the years. I mean, when I hunt ridges, I almost hunt
this type of feature exclusively. So we'll go into some detail on that, and then we'll be able to talk about what makes this such a great spot.
We stopped about 150, 200 yards short of the bottom of this valley. And we're going to show you the aerial footage of what this valley looks like that we're going to go up. The whole focus of this is this draw that we're going to walk up. And it's fairly deep, and it separates ridges on either side. It's kind of the magic formula during the rut, because the bucks know that the does bed on those ridges, and they're going to find a way to connect the dots. You know, one dot is one doe bedding area, the other dot is the other one. They're going to find a line between those two to travel, and they tend to follow the contour lines. Not always. I mean, does are a little bit more religious about that than what bucks are, but they tend toward following the contour lines. So as you go further and further up the draw, the deer tend to go around it more, following that, like I said, the contour. So the best spot on a ridge, the very best spot, is where you got a draw coming up from one side, then another draw coming up from the other side. Now you've got the deer pinching on both sides. We've got a draw coming up from one side, not as big of a one on the other side. So we're not really pinching them from both sides, but we are getting, like I said, some tendency of them to travel around the top of this draw. That's the key to it. They generally represent saddles too, where that draw tops out on a ridge is usually a really good spot for the deer to cross the top of that ridge. You know, that's a natural crossing area. So not only do you get that pinch point where they're going around the head of it, but you also get that movement pattern where they're going over the top there. And you'll get some amount of deer that travel right down the top of the ridge too. So you've got basically 3 travel routes covered from one stand. And you'll see that when we get up there. I thought I was going to talk the whole way up this valley, but I'm not going to talk. I'm doing all my talking here, but we'll show you cutaways as we go up there. And you can kind of see how the land lays. But that's what makes these kind of spots so good. And the deeper and steeper the draw is, the more it forces the movement to the top. And the better it is for funneling the bucks traveling during the rut. This one, like I said, isn't perfect. It's not real steep and deep at the top. So they can cut across the top in a few different spots. They don't have to go around the top. So that's the basic outline of what makes these type of ridge spots so good. And they're so easy to find because all you do is you look for those sharp points, like where all the contour lines make a sharp corner on the topo map, and that's going to tell you where there's a draw. The top of that, it's almost always the best spot on that whole area of ridge line. So we're going to sneak our way up there, and we're going to put this whole theory to the test and see if the proof is in the pudding. We've only gotten about 40 yards in here, and there's a buck. You can hear him. I'm sure that's a buck, just by how deep that is. There's no way we're making it up in here. Discretion is the better part of valor. We're going to go hunt somewhere else. Kind of stinks, because I love this spot. But it's a fool's errand to take a bad hand poker and play it. You should fold. And we're going to fold. So it kind of stinks, like I said, but I think we'll go up in the valley to the scrape tree. It's not far from here. It's only a couple hundred yards from where we parked. We can sneak in there, I'm pretty sure. We're not sneaking up into here. There's no way. So back it up.
Got a big body. Let's jump the fence. There's a pretty nice buck up on the ridge. It's in front of me, so it'd be to the northeast of this little valley here. And I heard some grunting when this smaller buck was passing below us. And it took me a while before I finally found him up there with my binos, but he's a nice buck. I mean, I think I would shoot him. He looks like he's an older deer, 8-pointer, maybe, just good, solid, nice looking 8-pointer. So I think on this farm, that's a definite shooter right now. That didn't exactly work out the way we'd hoped. The doe was working our way, and her last run took her in the opposite direction. But that was a lot of fun. I mean, Plan B ended up being, a pretty good time. It just shows the power of having a hot doe this time of the season. If you've got the doe, you've got the action, and we had 7 bucks that we could see. Maybe there was more of them up on the ridge that we didn't see, but that's quite a bit for this farm. There's not a lot of deer here, so having 7 bucks, that's pretty good, and one of them being a shooter. But we got sidetracked from our mission of going up on that ridge. Hopefully you learn a little bit about, what I look for when I'm choosing stands on those ridges during the rut, and we'll be back up in there hunting that again soon, I'm sure. Jordan's been out for a couple of days. She'll be back soon, so we'll bring some more action from her perspective, and I'm going to keep hunting. So I appreciate you joining us. We'll see you right back here again next week for the next episode of Hoyt's Bowhunting Whitetails. And remember to always dream big.